I'm not gonna get emotional on this one. I promise you. I felt it welling up, and it's got to calm down because we have interviews to do. So Destiny, I know I met you in a showrunner writer capacity, but can you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, so like Bree said, I am a writer, director, showrunner, producer. I went to the University of Michigan in undergrad, majoring in film, television, and media. But I've been directing since my sophomore year of high school. I started off doing drama and plays, but I kind of always had a love for TV and movies, and so I knew that that's kind of like the skill that and the route that I wanted to go. And so I've directed shorts, I've directed a couple music videos, but really, I'm really interested in being a showrunner for television and then also directing features in the future. Currently living in LA. I moved to LA last August from Detroit, Michigan. Um,
Hmm.
and I work as a production assistant at Nickelodeon for a show called Danger Force. So,
Oh wow.
kind of like what I'm doing right now.
Listen, I feel like first of all, I feel like if you working at Nickelodeon, first of all, let that sink in. She knew what she wanted to do. I admire that a lot. Like what I'm taking, I admire you knowing what you wanted to do in college and then actually leave that joint and do it.
Yeah.
Like, I really wish I would have had that type of foresight to be able to major in what I wanted to, like to understand, because I thought I majored in what I wanted to. Like my parents weren't, they weren't like, you've got to do this. And I saw the people whose parents were like, no, you have to stay in one particular lane. Mine didn't do that, but it took me a long time to kind of circle back into the creative realm. And it's just like, even though I caught it still in my 20s, I'm still like, I wish I would have gotten that education formally in college.
That's real. It wasn't easy though.
Hmm.
Like I said, I wanted to be a director since like sophomore year of high school. Before that, I wanted to be an author. I've always wanted to do something creative, and I've always loved writing.
Hmm.
But I was also just really good at school. I was getting
Hmm.
straight A's. I was good at really good at math, and I was like a tutor in this math program all throughout high school. I was good at science. And my mom and my dad, they supported me wanting to be a creative because they're both
Hmm.
entrepreneurs. So
Hmm.
they just had that mindset of being like, it's okay to struggle to get to your dreams as long as you're working towards being happy. But I
Hmm.
had other family members who were like, I went to one of the top high schools in Detroit. They're like, and I got into University of Michigan, number one public university in
Hmm.
the country. And so they're like, you're gonna go to this great school and get a film degree. Like that's what
Yeah.
you're gonna choose to do when you can go. They have like one of the best engineering schools. You can be an engineer, um,
Hmm.
do something else. And like I always had other family members all throughout high school telling me, okay, you're gonna move to California, because I always wanted to move to Cali. They're like, oh, you're gonna
Hmm.
move to California and be a director. You need to have a backup plan because the film, like this industry is like one in a million. Just like being a
Hmm.
singer or anything like that, it's one in their mind. It's one in a million, and the odds of it happening weren't that great. And
Hmm.
even if they were that great, you're still going to have to struggle a lot before you get there. And so I struggled with that a lot throughout high school. Like I was like, maybe I'll be a psychiatrist, or like maybe I will go to be an engineer and just do film on the side. But it's just like it was just something in me that just wouldn't let me commit to a plan B. um,
Hmm.
Film was my plan A, and I let it be my plan A. And I kind of like that was one of my first things, was just like deciding to like that was one of my first real big decisions as an adult, was deciding to like go against people who I look up to and I admire, and their advice is like near and dear to my heart, and just like following what I felt was right. And I tried, even in college, I tried to have like a double major. I tried to have like
Hmm.
a minor, something else other than film that could be my safety net, but it
Hmm.
never fell through. And so I just went ahead and just plowed right forward with the film. So it's not
That
always.
is, that's really dope though, because I feel like at some juncture in the journey on creative stuff, I think that every creative, well, I don't want to say anything definitive. I feel like most creatives kind of experience something like that where it's like a battle of self. right? It's like, should I do something more stable? But really, what is stable? Because they can fire you at a they can fire you anywhere. Just saying. Like, or you could just not get a job with one of those places and you did everything right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not necessarily fall in alignment to being successful because you I went a business route, but then you see those glass ceilings and they're
Mm-hmm.
super clear. It's just like, oh, well, being a person of color, being a woman, even being a man, being whatever your intersectionality is, whatever you identify as, that can become a barrier sometimes in those settings because they're used to one thing sometimes. And so I feel like that's such a hang up that a lot of people kind of get on. But I loved what you said about like you didn't have a plan B because I feel like you have truly created your own lane. But I think that is in large part what being a creative is. However, like, how did you come upon doing that? Do you feel like it was something like, okay, I'm not seeing this anywhere, I have to create it? Or did you always like kind of pursue this path with that mindset, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I'm absolutely at some point going to do my own stuff? Or did you just kind of like, again, from experiences, kind of flow into that and be like, you know what? I actually need to create that because it's necessary.
Man, it was hard. And I think it was hard because there's no real representation in Michigan for what it is that I wanted to do. And so it was like, okay, I want to be this thing, and it seems very far fetched, and I don't know how to get there. Like I
Hmm.
have no idea. So it was really just like when I was in college, just like trying to find my avenue on how to get there, asking people, what they had done before, my family like grasping at straws, trying to find people that they knew who were kind of similar related in the industry. And really what you find out is that everybody gets to where they are in a different way at a different time, and it's really a lot of it is just luck. And
Hmm.
so I was having a really hard time trying to navigate how to become a film writer and director. Like in film school, they teach you how to do the technical stuff, how to format a screenplay, how to work a camera, but they don't teach you what the industry is, how to get into the industry. Well, at least mine didn't. I
Hmm.
had an internship my summer after my junior year, working at TV1 in Silver Springs. And I think because at the time I know I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to be a director, but I didn't know what that would look like. And I was working under this producer, and he was like one of the main producers at TV1. And I watched what he would do, and like I would come to a cubicle every day, and like I just after that internship I really enjoyed it. I got to like read scripts that people sent in and like give him my ideas. I would screen them, all the pitch decks that they would get, all the scripts they would get. And you have to kind of think of a mindset like, does this, not if it's good or not good, but does this work for TV1 and their audience? Would this be something that this would cater to their audience and their audience would want to see? And we
Hmm.
would pitch in production meetings once a week, like our ideas and which ones we thought were good, and then they might start considering them to actually take them on as movies or TV shows. But I
Hmm.
hated coming to a cubicle every day. I hated working a 9 to 5. It was cool to like work on the different editing cuts of the movie, and it was cool to do those things. But that's when I knew, okay, Destiny, you need to be on set. Like being
Yeah.
a producer right away, maybe like 20 years down the line I could be a producer, but I can't. I'm the type of person, like I want my day-to-day to be different. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't want to sit at a desk all day. So that helped me decide a little bit of like what it is that I wanted to do. And then just, man, I feel like this time that we're in now was really good, because if I was 10 years older, I don't think I would have had the same mindset. Because just looking, like I said, there's just not a lot of people doing what it is that I want to do. But as I was like in school, a lot of them came out, like Ava DuVernay or Courtney Kemp or Shonda Rhimes. I was like, that's
Hmm.
how I even found out what a showrunner was. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? and like seeing their success and like seeing what it is that they do was kind of like how I kind of tried to decide what it is that I wanted to do. I'm like, okay, that seems really cool. That seems really dope. And I kind of started to like, mirror my work similar to theirs. But then it was also wanting to see more Black faces on a TV screen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But not and I feel like we get such cliche characters. Like their characters not cliche, but on like Black shows outside of them, like just such cliche characters, and they have the same plot. And I'm just like, I
Yeah.
want some diversity, and it's getting better and better now. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of like the lane that I chose, and it's like I just want to make stuff that I can relate to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can see myself in, and that would make other people realize that this is possible too for them. So
Mm-hmm.
that,
I agree because we get put in a box. Either we're gonna be the sassy sidekick, we're gonna be the complete B word, we're gonna be we're gonna be just super strong, resilient, or we're gonna be a like black savior. And it's just kind of like or we again, and then if you're the black savior, you have to still play the background for somebody else to push somebody else's story along, and it's just kind of like it's draining. And although we can be those things, people are so much more multifaceted than that. And it's just kind of like, or you're gonna have like a bougie character, you're gonna have like the free to be you and me character, you're gonna
Black
have,
power character, like
yeah, black power character. You're gonna have the straight and narrow person, the suburban person, which I didn't have people from suburbs and they ain't like they don't like that
like
either.
that. Yeah.
And you're gonna have a wild person or the person that's like, oh my god, I can't believe she said that. Like that person. And again, those are all fun and I do think that they play an element, but then sometimes like some of my favorite shows, it's just like I see myself as a hybrid between two characters. Like for Living Single, they had that again, this is older and it's a classic. However, I see myself as more like a hybrid between Khadijah and Sinclair,
Mm.
as opposed to just one definitively. You know what I'm saying? Like I see
Yeah.
that, and I think those type of characters, it's time to see and build those because it's just like you can be flighty and smart. You can't because people have
Yeah.
crazy moments, or you know what I'm saying, or you can be funny and serious. I feel like it's all about character development. What I'm finding, and even like now, since I've started embracing and writing, screenwriting, I kind of like watch TV differently. I
Mhm.
don't watch it the same way or be like, dang, I wish they would get more into this character's story. Or
Mhm.
dang, like this is such a good character. I wish we could flesh this person out a little bit more so that we can understand. Okay,
Wait, but
get it.
yeah, I there was a conversation that I had with one of my film friends that just have like it's always like stuck with me, and it's like,
Hmm.
how many movies have you seen about a white man and his dog? How many are there? There's a million.
Wow.
There's a
There
million.
are a lot. There are a lot.
Why can't we just have black movies like that where it's just black people living life? Black man and his dog. A black family just
Yeah.
on a trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does
Hmm.
it always have to be related to our blackness and our struggle? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
white people don't have that same burden. White creatives don't have that same burden because what struggle do they have to like, monetize or like show in on TV and stuff like that? It's just like we have regular lives that aren't necessarily related to that all the time, and I want to tell those stories too. What about a black
Yeah.
because like you got so many. There's so many. I'm like every time I see one coming out in the theater, I'm like another movie about a white man and his dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I just that always just set with me. I don't know.
No, that's true though, because and the thing is, and then like people are eating it up every time. It's not. It's such a quick
Marley and
formula.
shed a tear.
Yet, listen, my whole household, we watched that, and everybody just went on to their room. It was like, okay, I'm gonna need a minute. I'm gonna need and then like John Wick got it, great. You know what I'm saying? So same conversation anyway, and yeah, I think that's the kind of stuff like I want to do that. I want to create that type of stuff too because it's going to humanize us. You know, we already are humanized. Like, let make no mistake. But like humanize us in that like people won't come up to us and be like, oh no, you didn't, girlfriend. Like, no, I didn't. Like, you know, so it's like it's gonna humanize us to be ourselves and hopefully empower someone along the way to be themselves as well, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to kind of live more freely. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to see, personally, I don't want to see. I, so to an extent, you do have to share some black traumas, but like I'm over that. I don't watch stuff like that personally. I don't. I don't. So like I don't like to be, you know, traumatized again. But I did. Somebody did say like sometimes you do need to capture some of it to be able to understand and get a cohesive story so that we can understand like the victory and how we live afterwards. But like, you know, I ain't gotta see nothing about no slavery personally. And I'm not denying slavery. I'm saying like it happened, and but I don't wanna have to. I feel like black people, we deserve to get a break in our content. We have to live with the ramifications of slavery every day. I don't want to also consume it in what I'm watching.
Like people don't want to see COVID on TV. They like
No, we do not.
without TV. They don't need to be wearing masks. COVID never happened. Like we got to live this every day. We're not trying to see this because TV and movies are escape. It's people's escapes. It's their fantasy.
Hmm.
It's their, you know, the lives they want to live, the lives they want to see. Like they don't want to think about that all the time, 24/7. That's why a lot of shows have chosen to not bring
We
in
just get right past it, post COVID life.
post or like it never happened in general. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's the thing. Some shows are doing like post COVID, and I like it. I like that too. But some of them are just like COVID never happened. It was never a thing. It was never. It wasn't a thing that these characters experienced, and because it's all fiction, we have that opportunity to do that. Like even when I was starting to come up with the idea for like my show, like that was something me and the producers talked about. We were like, is this gonna be post COVID? Are they gonna be in COVID? Because the
Hmm.
premise of the show came from me and my roommates moving out here, and a lot of things that we dealt with was COVID related because it was mid COVID when we moved to California. So then it was like it would be cool to have this in the story, but it became too much. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see that. So
Hmm. And the thing is, it's just like I think that that's what's so special about being able to be a writer and create these different stories, because it's like although it's a lot of responsibility to tell the stories properly and give everything its just due, it is also very freeing to be able to tell a story without bounds. You know what I'm saying? And we can push the limits in ways that we may not. And I think that for me, it empowers me to live a little bit more fearlessly in real life. Because it's like if I'm creating this character that is like rambunctiously themselves, and it's just like, and it's undeniable that they are not going to really push the needle forward or backwards if it's not on their own terms, then why do I settle for that in my real life? So,
absolutely, like I said, that's something I've been working on, being okay with making mistakes. Cause like I struggle with making decisions for myself. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm,
because of that fear and just telling yourself that it's going to be okay because life is going to go on. You know what I'm saying? You're going to learn from your mistake, or it's not going to be a mistake. Either way, you're going to gain something, and it is what it is. You know.